So today I'm going to show you my DIY camper. I made it a few years ago. We first made it to be just a hauler for all our camping gear, that when our family would go camping, we had a lot of coolers, a lot of chairs, a great big tent, and it was just easier to carry it in something permanent. We could park it in the garage and pull it out when we were ready to go camping, and everything was already there. But when I made it to eventually become a teardrop camper that we could camp in at a campground. So I'm going to show you a few things that I did to make this mine, and a few things that I'm going to do now that I'm using it more as a camper and not as a hauler anymore. A couple of things I'm going to do inside to finish it out and make it a little bit more comfortable and a better living space when you're stuck in there and not quite ready for bed yet. So this is just a Harbor Freight trailer. I think it was around $200. It bolts together, and it's really actually pretty easy with just some simple tools. Now I went ahead and spray painted it black because I wanted the color to eventually match the color scheme that I'm going to use with some graphics on the camper. So here's the back. I put these are just rubberized like hood latches for like a Jeep style hood. They hold it, the lid down going down the road, and they're going to keep small mammals like coons or possum out of here. They're not going to keep a bear out, but at this time, me camping in bear country is very limited, and I really don't keep any food inside here. So in the short time that I've used this camper, I've learned a few things, and one is I changed the design of this back end a little bit to fit this refrigerator in here. And typically when I go camping, I've already got the food in a cooler, already on ice, and it makes this refrigerator really kind of unnecessary, not very useful. There's not a lot of food you can fit in here anyway, so I will probably be removing this. And you have to be someplace where there's electric allowed, or a small generator. But most campgrounds you're going to go to, they're going to have service electric hookup at the campsite, so I can plug in, and I've got the whole thing wired. I have two receptacles here in the kitchen area. I have a receptacle on the inside in the sleeping area, and I have a electric a light, a pull chain light, so that you can light it. Without electric, this becomes useless. The light in the camper becomes useless. So I've installed a few tap lights, a little battery powered, and they're more than enough light for any time you're out camping. But this is pretty much just plywood construction also. It is a DIY project, and I'm going to be changing this some. I have plans to remove this, to put a sink in, and maybe rather than using this hot plate, I may return my old Coleman pump stove back to here and use it, because you can use it whether you've got electric or not. So other than that, this is just 3 shelves to cook off of. So one thing we've learned is getting in isn't always the easiest thing. The mattress is a little bit lower than this threshold on this door, so it becomes kind of a fall backward into the camper right now. But other than that, we don't bring our shoes in. Shoes go under the camper, and we try to keep it somewhat clean in here, because you're going to be outside and dirty all day. At least you can sleep someplace clean. The inside of the camper now is covered with luan and then trimmed out with just pine trim. I've put that little space heater, that little micro heater on that receptacle over there, and it really does knock the chill off in this size of a space. Last weekend, my daughter and I went down to the Smokies. It was 25 degrees outside in the morning, but it was in the mid 40s inside this camper without any heat or anything. So, good warm sleeping bag, and a small camper like this will stay warm even in the 20s. We do keep that fan cocked open most of the time when we're inside, just to make sure we get enough oxygen in. It is a little bit of a tight space, and we do want to wake up in the mornings. So I plan on installing some vents down low to make sure we have airflow, and then in the event that it was snowing, snow wouldn't blow in when we cock this vent open. So that is one thing I plan on doing in the very near future. Now here's a little detail that I did that I'm actually pretty happy with. This is one of those farming engineering kind of details that don't always work out. But this is a piece of house gutter that I cut and I mounted onto this trailer here so that any rainwater that comes down, or snow, any rainwater that comes down the roof here will either run off the side and drip down or drip over. It'd take a lot of force to make it drip over. So most of the water is going to come down this side. But it protects this joint here and keeps water from going down in that crack. Now I did put a piece of, this is roof type rubber, so it is sealed between this piece and this piece, and water could get in that rubber. It would then also run out this crack and down, but with this on there to help, it just eliminates all kinds of problems. And if that rubber was to ever crack a pinhole or something, the water in theory would only go down in the kitchen space and not into the sleeping space, but this just prevents a whole lot of trouble, having this little flange, this little flashing over that joint where your hinge is for that back kitchen door. So back in the sleeping space, I just have this flat mattress laid on the floor. There is carpet underneath it, so it does provide a lots of insulation from below. And like I said earlier, even in 25-degree temperatures, we did not feel any cold coming in from underneath. Hung a few curtains just for a little bit of privacy at night. But my plans, this is a DIY, continuing DIY. There is a lot of distance here between the mattress and this space here. So, being that there's no place for storage or clothes or anything, I'm going to put a shelf, come in around this way. The shelf's going to come over, and it's going to actually fill out this area right here to have a little place to set some stuff also. And then maybe a few shelves across this space up in here. And that will allow me and whoever's in here to be able to put a tablet or something up and watch, downloaded movies. We can do a little bit of something before we fall asleep at night, watch some movies or play games or something. So my next project for this camper is to put some shelving in here, and I think I'll be getting started on that very soon. So that's all for right now. I've been thinking a lot that I haven't actually named. I don't know if it's protocol to name your camper, but we haven't really given it a name. So I guess if there's a good suggestion, you can put it in the comments, and if I like it, and if you subscribe, I will consider naming my camper something that's appropriate and something that's right for this camper. So keep looking for new videos. I'm going to keep posting stuff that I learn as I camp in this Teardrop. Things that maybe you've known for years. Things that maybe you haven't ever heard or thought of. But I suggest anybody that's got a little time, a little money, little skill, try building your own. I've had fun doing it, and I hope to have lots of fun dragging it all over the place and sleeping here and there in it. So.